I look like I'm naked. Okay. Hey, it's Madison Chase, and welcome to It's Yes or No. It's your entertainment source or news option. And I'm Madison Chase, if I didn't say that already. And we're going to be talking about Steph Curry and his sister, Sydell, and a fan that got fired. He got fired for a mean tweet. So before we get into that, I want you to say hey to my girl, Steph. Steph, you say hey to the people.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Lots of drama happening. We've got our opinions, and we'd like to hear yours.
Yes. Okay. And before we start, this is really, I wanted to do this, and Steph and I wanted to do this because we feel like there are so many topics that typically involve race. Our people love to interject race. So we wanted to have a class to tell us your opinion. And this is really our opinion. And we're both, I love Steph, and we're both great people. I guess I can't say that I'm great, but I think I'm a good person.
You're great, girl. You're great, girl. You're great.
Yeah. And so a lot of this is coming with the best of intentions to paint people in the best possible light. This is not me throwing shade, being sarcastic. This is really trying to get to the heart of the matter and see things from other people's perspective. So I just wanted to throw that out there before we get started. So let's get to the facts. The facts are, this is the NBA Finals, Game 3, Cleveland Cavaliers and Golden State Warriors. And Steph Curry, his sister Sydell, was on her way to Cleveland, and she tweeted, I'm going to read the exact tweet of what was said. And the fan, I may not pronounce his name correctly, but his sister tweeted, "Wheels up to Cleveland with Mama and Granny." And the fan, Moe Wahdan, tweeted, "You and your whole family get the F." He said F. He said the whole thing, put F. "Get the F out of Cleveland and take Riley's," Steph and Aisha's daughter, "fake ASS with you." And that was tweeted that at 9:42 a.m. yesterday. And then someone from the company tweeted, I'm trying to read it, it's really small. It says, "Wonder if Holton Wise knows their apprentice," obviously this guy was an apprentice of his company, "agent is using that word in a public forum." And then Cheryl and Warriors World said, "Our apologies to all who were a party to this attack at Holton Wise, does not condone this, and we have terminated him." So essentially, he lost his job for using his public name and his public account to really bash a fan. So my three questions to you, Steph. Question number one is Steph Curry partially to blame for this fan including his daughter's name because he includes her in press conferences after the game? So that's question number one. Yes or no, Steph? Is Steph Curry partially to blame because this fan included his daughter in the tweet?
I'm a fan of Steph Curry. I've got to say that. Part of me does think he is a little bit to blame. And this is why. And again, no disrespect there, but, you don't see tweets. You don't see as many. I'm sure there's some, but you don't see as many tweets about other players' kids. And you don't see as many, tweets to other players' wives, stuff like that don't bring it. Like when you bring your child into this spotlight, you got to understand you're opening a door that, yes, maybe you and I, Madison, and maybe, the majority of the people know that it's not right to say something like that. But you got to understand you're tap dancing across the line right there. You're opening a door for whatever might be said about you, about your family. And, it's one thing to bring the kids to the game and and stuff like that. But when you bring your kid who's answering questions at a press conference and making a spectacle about everything, yes, it's sweet and it's cute and all that, but there are some people that will take advantage of that vulnerability and will turn it around and do something like this. So, you know what I mean? Like, again, not that Steph Curry deserves this, or by any means am I saying that that justifies the behavior that this fan, did, or this tweet. But I feel like you got to be a little bit more aware of what could possibly happen and maybe protect your family a little bit more. And not that I think that that's the way that it should be, but I feel like that's kind of just the way that things have been, happening.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a huge Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry. Like, I think they're great. Like, I follow them on YouTube. I watch their videos, and I love that he's such a strong believer. He's just like Russell Wilson is to football. Like, he's very proud of his Christian faith, and I think that's great. I'm definitely a huge fan of his and LeBron James. So on the polar opposite side of that, I was telling you, Steph, and so this is just interesting conversation, that I do know LeBron James, he has a very interesting story too. And somebody brought it to my attention on YouTube that they have two completely different lives as far as growing up in their background. Like, I know Steph's dad is a former NBA player, and LeBron James kind of had a harder road to his success in the NBA. But I do know LeBron James keeps his daughter like covered up. Like, you only see pictures of her feet. And then when you do see her, she's completely wrapped up. So, maybe because LeBron James is a little bit older, he has a little bit more wisdom when it comes to, knowing how cruel people can be. So I can't say that he's partially to blame. So I'm probably going to disagree with you, because I feel like people just take social media way too far. They take being a sports fan way too far, because they're people at the end of the day.
But if you're a celebrity, or if you're a sports fan, or if you're an athlete in the public eye, you've got to know at this stage of the game that all comes with the territory. That's what that's my reason why yes.
Yeah. And I would just say no, because I feel like in this age of social media and the internet, we're so desensitized to people being people that we don't take people's lives seriously. We don't take children. Like, she's a child. Why include her in your tweet? That's somebody's child. So I agree with you. Say it again.
Because people are crazy.
Yeah, but that's my point, though. People are crazy, but I feel like the internet has made us so desensitized to just the quality of life in children. Like, she's a child. Like, why include her and call her fake? She's 4, not even 5, and you're calling her fake. So,
yeah, but because you and I can see that, what would you do? Like, wouldn't you want to not bring your child to those situations where they can be scrutinized then?
You know what? I feel like LeBron and Steph are two completely different people with two completely different backgrounds. And Steph grew up as an NBA player, and he probably grew up going to the games with his dad. And maybe he always wanted to be in the press conference with his dad. Who knows? I'm just, playing an angel's advocate.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I just thought about that. But like, maybe he always wanted to be a part of the press conferences with his dad, and so that's why he's included Riley into the press conference. So I don't know, but I don't think by you trying to be a good dad, and he obviously is a very good dad, a good husband. He's just a great guy all around. So I don't feel like he should be penalized, because we live in an age where people are so rude. Regardless, like, they're not kind with their words, and they could care less how they offend people and what they say. Even politicians are doing it, where it doesn't matter what I say and who I offend, because this is how I feel, and there are no repercussions for me having, these feelings that may be really rude and insensitive to people. So I don't know. I think even if you don't have kids, but if you consider, would I want someone to say that to me, not knowing where it's coming from? And I think that's the thing with text messaging too. Like, you never know the emotion behind the text message. Like someone said to me on YouTube when they were commenting about one of the videos we did, they were like, are you being sarcastic? And I'm like, no, because you don't know me and you don't know how I would sound if I were saying something. Like he could have been laughing and joking when he sent the tweet, but I think because we've gotten so desensitized to having real one-on-one conversations that it takes the emotion out and people think that it's okay. So I'm going to say no. I think that people just need to be wiser when they're using their social media, and especially when it's your face. Like a lot of people will use social media and not have their face on their pages so they could hide behind and say mean and cruel things all the time. But I think this is just a lesson for people on social media who use social media and it's really their face. You got to watch what you say because there are repercussions to whatever you tweet and whatever is out there on social media.
I totally understand your point, and I admire your genuineness. I just feel like for me, if it was me, I wouldn't want to bring my kid because I don't give, that much. I don't put that much faith in what other people might do when you've seen some of this crazy stuff, and like I can only control. Yeah. I can only control my circumstance and my surroundings by what I do. And for me, I would want to not bring my child, to that kind of stuff because of the fact that, what if your friends see that? It's kind of, I would be more protective. But again, different strokes for different folks. That's why we talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, that's exactly why we talk about stuff. And I agree. Like, I think as a parent, you make the best decisions for your kids. Like I have a friend and she's a YouTube star and her channel was built. I feel like I froze. Did I freeze on your side, Steph? Her channel was built around her being a mom. So her kids, of course, are on her YouTube page. And then you have a celebrity like Kerry Washington, where I think her daughter might almost be the same age as Riley, but no one picture of her. And she's made a conscious choice to not have her in the media, which I think is great. But then I look at my friend who has a really successful YouTube channel about her being a mom and all the things that it takes to be a mom, and for, mommy confessions for some of the things that women may not know if they're a first-time mother. So, it's different strokes for different folks. Now, when I have children, do I want my kids on social media? Probably not. Will they have a page? Nope, they sure won't. Will they be very private? Because I'm super uber private myself. So different strokes for different folks. I just feel like we need to be more sensitive when we're tweeting and using our social media personally when your face is in front. And even when your face is not in front, because your words have power to offend and potentially really someone's life. And to me, it's borderline bullying. We talk about bullying, but people get cyber bully as well. And to me, what he did was cyber bullying. He was a bully. F you and take your whole family and your fake daughter that's 4. She's 4, not even 5. She's not.
I'm not saying the guy's not a moron. I'm not saying that at all. And that, I would do everything that I could to keep my family, somewhat out of the limelight. Yeah. All right, so I think we did that. What's question number 2?
Question number 2 is, what is question number 2? Is it okay? I guess we kind of covered this in question number 1. Is it okay for fans to attack and say mean tweets to celebrities and or athletes? I think we kind of covered that.
See, I'm going to say that this is no. I'm going to say that because I feel like a lot of it is cowardly. Like,
yes,
if you don't have, I don't know. I just feel like, part of it's funny and people are allowed to voice their opinion. And if you're a celebrity, money to be in a certain limelight, maybe you should have a little bit of a thicker skin. But in the same sense, no one's signing up for a job and reading the fine print and signing up to being bullied or signing up. Like, it affects everyone. You know what I mean? Like, even the people that don't read their stuff, at some point in time, they're affected or they've been affected. And even if they're affected in a way where they have to use energy to avoid it, there's still some type of energy being used for somebody else's you know, not negligence, that's the wrong word, but naivety, or, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's definitely too far. Has this guy apologized yet? No, right?
I don't think he's apologized, and I think, you know, he's dealing with the consequence of you got fired, like, publicly. Like, your company said, we are not tolerating this behavior. You use profanity. And that's another thing too. Like, we use profanity, like, and it's such, like, you know, like, I don't use the B word. Like, I don't curse. And so when women call each other bees and hoes, I'm like, when did that become popular? So just that, and even though people, you know, it's kind of like the cool thing to do, and hey bee, hey boo 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 boo, and I'm like, when is that okay? When did that become okay that we're using that term in a positive way? Like, it's not positive. So no, Steph, I don't like it. But yes, I totally think that it's not okay. And it's borderline bullying to me, where you know, use profanity because you don't know how someone.
I'm with you in a lot of ways, and I think we just created a whole nother yes or no segment that we'll definitely do about using words, you know, positive and negative, and when it's okay to say stuff and not. But no, I agree with you. I think we're both a no on that one.
Yeah, we're definitely a no on that one because I don't use profanity. I wouldn't even date. There was a guy that I dated, this is just sidebar conversation, that he used profanity a lot. And I'm like, when your child, and he has a son, I'm like, when your child goes to school, if he gets sent home from school because he used a cuss word, like, where would he get it from? Because you do it, so he thinks it's okay. So yeah, right. It's just not okay. Okay, so question number. What'd you say?
No, I'm with you. Number 3. Yeah.
Number 3. Should Holton Wise? Did I disappear? Should Holton Wise have fired Moe Wahdan? I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And
that's all right.
Should they have? Did you hear the question? So the question is, should Holton Wise have fired for his tweet to Steph Curry's sister?
See, now for me, this is a very tricky one because, you know, I feel like if they were pressured into firing him, that's wrong. I don't feel like, you know, just because someone blows a gasket and says something stupid doesn't mean that they and protocol and showing up and doing their job. Now, if there's a company policy, like your image is important, if on the Twitter it says who they work for, yada, 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 I feel like, yes, then maybe if I was as well. But, I mean, you know, I'm a business owner. If one of my employees, you know, said something mean about, you know, the New York Jets or some team that I like that's not grounds for firing for me. Right. You know, especially if they're a good employee that shows up and is accountable and does their job. So is that a step too far? Possibly. Could an apology and something like efficient? Probably.
Yeah. So me answering that question, if I really had to think about it, there are countless people, countless celebrities, countless politicians that say some very mean, derogatory, racist, using profanity, bullying people, calling people out of their names. But I'm kind of on the fence. Like, should he have gotten fired? Should he have maybe done an apology, maybe gone to the game? Like, it sounds like, I'm not sure what Holton Wise is exactly. So if you guys know what it is, you want to, you know, shed some light on what that company is. But I guess he's an agent of some sort. So maybe it's a sports related company. I don't know. But I don't know. I think firing him may have been a little too harsh. But if I'm, Aisha Curry and Steph Curry, would I want him to be fired? Maybe, possibly, because I feel like people take being a sports fan way too far. Like when I hear about, certain football teams where if you go and you sit on the opposite side and you're wearing the opposing team's jersey, but you're sitting on the home field team's court side or whatever, that you might get hurt. Like, to me, you're taking it way too far. Like, calm down. It's a game. Like, and I've always been, I'm a huge fan of people who do great things off the court when they're not in front of a camera. I'm a huge fan of those people. So I guess I'm not the person who is a crazy fan like that, where I blindly will go hard to, like head to head with somebody over something that really does not affect my life. So I just think it's interesting. And do I think he, like you said, we don't know what Holton Wise's policy is, and if he made an apology, would that have been acceptable? And, it really depends on, I don't know, because people say threatening things all the time, and people take those threats very lightly, and then nothing happens. But then some people say mean, really mean and bullying kind of things, and then something does seriously happen, and then we look back and say, oh, well, maybe we should have used his examples of him being a bully or him saying mean things, and saw that that was going to lead to something else. So I don't know. I think this story really has to develop, and, maybe he is a great employee. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he has a really bad reputation. And so this was just another example of him using profanity at work. I have no idea, but I think that's a really good valid point. Like, what are the policies, and what did he sign? And is he in a right to work state like California, where you could get fired at any drop of the dime because you sneeze wrong? Who knows? So I don't know. That's a good question, Seth. So I think we're done.
Yeah,
yeah. So who do you got? You got the Cavs, or are you for the Warriors?
I feel like it's going to be interesting. I feel like in the beginning I thought the Warriors were going to just kill it, and the way that the Cavs played last night. But I don't know. I feel like now with all this scrutiny, Steph Curry is going to come back and they're going to annihilate. So we'll have to see what happens.
Okay. Hopefully this sounds better than what it sounds right now. So forgive us if there is like some sound quality, because I can see that it's going in and out. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the great discussion. So again, this is really a format for us to get your opinion, hear your voice, hear what you have to say. And we're giving our opinions. And again, I just want to say I love Aisha and Steph Curry and Riley and their family. I think they're a great example of a Christian family. And I love how he, is a family guy. And I love what he does off the court. And I'm Madison Chase. And you can find me on my social media. I'll put it in the link below. But I'm Madison Chase Fit. And I want to say One Madison Chase on Instagram and YouTube. I'm One Mad Chase, and I'll put all my other social media hashtags in the link below. And Steph Z, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me at IAMSTEFZ on Twitter and Instagram. My YouTube page is Steph Z TV. This video will be up there as well. And yeah, tweet me. I'd love to hear from you. Leave us comments below, questions, anything we might have missed. If you heard anything in the story, let us know. And that's it for me.
Yeah, and make sure that you like it and or subscribe to our YouTube page. And please, there's going to be a little eye with a circle around it, and it's going to have the polling questions. I definitely want to see where you guys stand with the poll, either with the yes or no questions. I'm going to put all three of these questions, and I'm curious to see exactly where you stand. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Madison Chase, and my girl Steph Z is in Wisconsin. So we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.